Have you felt like you were actually kind of on a roll and things are going along and all of a sudden you had a big pushback? Like you were evolving, you were experiencing a little bit of intuition, but then there was this huge contraction going on that says, wait a minute, what are you doing? How can you be sure? Maybe it was your ego pushing back, maybe someone else's ego pushing back, but the big effect of the pushback or the prevention of your evolution is, whether it's inside or outside, efforts to make you doubt yourself. We've been talking about the growth, the evolution that every human is going through. We are, just like the world is evolving, we too are evolving. And we can. Once upon a time, the world was in the dark ages and everybody was dying of black plague and everything was just stuck in darkness and filth and terror. And then, bam, next thing you know, we're in the Renaissance, one of the most fantastic growth periods in humanity. Everything evolved overnight. Architecture, art, music, design, food, cities, living together, beauty, even the concept of romantic love was born in this era. We are on the birth of a new Renaissance, which actually means rebirth. However, just like there are contractions that hold you back when you're being born, you will be met with contractions. As you are growing and you want to be aware of them and lean into them instead of let them stop you. My name's Sonia Choquette. Welcome to my channel. I'm talking about navigating the potential restrictions and obstacles and sabotage that keep you from growing and really evolving into the conscious, empowered being that you are. Now, the first thing we need to know is that learning about how to evolve, which so many of us have been involved in, that is the fourth dimension of us, that the open mind, the curiosity, the changing of old patterns, the beginning to awaken to a new understanding that we are energetic beings. Learning about all of that is a beginning, but just getting information isn't enough. How many of us thoroughly understand the reason we have traumatic pasts and unfortunate childhoods, and we've had negative patterns, but we're still in it? What we have to do is create new actions to change energy. Understanding is only part of it. That's the fourth dimension. Now we go to the fifth, which is I am going to make self-loving choices, even if I get pushed back. So I want you to be prepared for the pushback. I don't want to throw you off your game. I don't want you to be off center and go into self-doubt. So here are the kinds of experiences that could challenge you and throw you off. And I want you to be prepared for them so that you don't fall into the trap of going back into the fear-based, victimized, controlled version of you. Let's say, here's an example. Maybe you're out with a bunch of friends and you're having after work drinks at the local pub or the bar or wherever you might gather, and you've had one and it's enough. You're ready to go home. You have a family, you have things to do, you need to go to bed early, or maybe you go to the pub, but you really don't want to drink. And those around you are going to push you. Come on, have a drink. What's wrong with you? Stick around. Don't go home. Party pooper. All of that pressure says, look, do what we say, not what your heart says. And you got to be prepared for that and not get angry or defensive. And don't capitulate and just say, fine, I'll do what you want instead of what I know to be true. You need to say, I know, it's unfortunate, but I do need to do what works for me. And I love you guys, but I got to go. See, the key is making that decision that no matter what pressure I'm going to have, I am going to follow my inner guidance. How about this one? This is even bigger. You are married, you have a family, you have responsibilities, you have financial responsibilities, and you absolutely loathe your job. And you say to your partner, I have to quit, it's making me sick. and your partner goes into fear, which is understandable. Change brings about fear, and it says, you can't quit. That's so irresponsible. You can't even think about it. You're making it up. Stop being dramatic. What you're feeling isn't real. It happens. Now, what you want to understand is, A, your partner isn't necessarily trying to hurt you. They're just in fear, which is where most people live. So instead, you can say, getting angry, and you don't support me, and you don't love me, and I hate you, and you know where that goes. You can say, I understand your fear, and yes, I'm not saying I'm going to abandon my responsibilities. I have no intention of doing that. But I don't want to abandon myself either, because if I don't take care of me, you or our family doesn't have the benefit of the best me. So I want your support. And even if I don't get it, I'm going to start looking for something else, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. That a person may or may not hear once, but they might hear it 10 times. So you have to be calm, and you have to repeat it, but you have to be prepared. We are evolving. Evolving means change. Waking up and listening to ourselves might be a very different version of you than the people in your life know you to be. So they hear change means you're going away, or you're upsetting my security, or you're making me uncomfortable and you're scaring me. So you can have some compassion, but you can only have compassion if you're prepared. And otherwise, you'll go into reactivity. And you can say, I understand you're afraid. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm going to not abandon myself anymore. Here's a trick. The less you say, the better. The more resolve you have to listen to your inner voice and reassure the people that that doesn't mean I'm rejecting you, unless you are rejecting them. Talk about that in a minute. I am going to listen to myself, and yeah, that is a new version of me. And I'm afraid you're going to have to get used to it, because the version of me you have is miserable. And I don't want to be with people or in relationships that insist that I'm miserable just to keep you safe. Yes, this is a lot of disruption. So you have to be prepared for it. You have to be resolved. You have to be self-loving. But here's a tool that helps. You have to have a lot of humor, compassion, and love. I'm changing. And hopefully my intention is for a better version of me, a happier one. And if it means I have to disrupt the life I have, I'm willing. But I don't have to blow it up overnight without a plan. So this is where your left brain and your right brain become friends, and that your ego, which has been holding you back, now gets to partner you. That's the goal, that you want your ego to help you instead of fight you. You want your ego to say, you know what, you're right. Bad job, making you sick. Those chronic migraines, headaches, belly aches, depression are a consequence of being in a frequency and an experience that's not good for you. So I'm going to help you find another one. This is the goal, is to try to get your ego to help you. Einstein said it best: the human spirit is your sacred gift. Rational mind is your faithful servant. But sadly, we've thrown away the gift and we've become enslaved to the servant. So what we need to do in this is have a corrective experience. You don't want to be at war with yourself. You don't want to just say, my ego is a menace. You have to retrain it. I teach people your ego is like a barking dog. Your barking dog is your pet. You want to train your pet. You don't have to shoot the pet. You don't want to kick the pet out, and it's not going anywhere. But you can train the pet to say, look, your job is to support my spirit. Your job isn't to sabotage me and be in fear and victimhood. Your job is to be my best friend. Your job, ego, is to support my spirit and give me every bit of your creativity to find solutions, so that I don't abandon myself, so I don't betray myself or let my life be controlled by the fears of others. Now, I am not in any way suggesting that this is an easy process. It is actually called the great work. In very ancient metaphysical mystery schools and texts, this is called the great work because it is great and it's a bit of work. But More now than ever, you have support and help to make this great work by being calm and being grounded and recognizing that your inner voice is not your enemy and your ego doesn't have to be your enemy. And other people's fears are not your responsibility to manage. What is your responsibility to manage is to be able to be authentic, real, responsible, counted on, and keep your word. But if what you're doing isn't working, admit it, be honest, and be interested that your spirit will show you what is working. None of us are led to a dead end. Your intuition will guide you. Your spirit, your inner knowledge, your spirit guides will help you. But it begins with you being willing to make uncomfortable changes. Starts with recognizing what isn't working and starting to be curious about what will. So we're going to take this in bite sizes. It makes no sense to download and think, oh, if I get all the information, the problem is solved. Actually, bite-sized bits of information that you can put into practice are much more effective in bringing about peace and evolution to your life. And if you're happy, the people you're with are going to feel the benefit of that. So it is the gift that keeps on giving. Take it bite-sized. So that's all we're going to talk about for today, because that's a lot. But listen to this a couple of times because it's packed with good ideas and information. Mostly, know that your inner guidance is a disruptor, and that's okay. You're going to still be led to a better outcome if you give yourself a chance. And you do have help with your higher self, your guides, the universe, your loving heart, and surround yourself with people who also believe in you, one step at a time. Thanks for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this conversation or this journey we're on, please subscribe if you've come back. Thanks for sticking with me. Let's keep going. This is the great work. All my love. See you next time.